In the grim darkness of the far future, there is only war. Hello, and welcome back to Learning English Through Universes, the series where we explore fascinating fictional worlds while improving our English skills. Today, we journey into one of the darkest periods of Warhammer 40,000, the Age of Darkness. This is the era when humanity, at the height of its power and expansion, faced its greatest internal threat. Brothers fought against brothers, champions fell to corruption, and the galaxy trembled under the shadow of the Horus Heresy. By the end of this episode, you will not only know the story of the Primarchs, the Horus Heresy, and the Adeptus Astartes, but you will also have new English vocabulary and practice sentences inspired by this universe. So, get ready to immerse yourself in a tale of heroism, betrayal, and epic battles, and to learn English along the way. After the Emperor of Mankind unified Terra and launched the Great Crusade, humanity spread across the stars. Whole systems were brought under the banner of the Imperium, and the legions of space marines seemed unstoppable. Yet, even as the galaxy expanded, dark forces worked behind the scenes. The warp, a psychic dimension of raw energy and malevolence, whispered promises of power and revenge to those vulnerable to ambition and doubt. It was in this period that the seeds of the Age of Darkness were sown. The Imperium, though vast and powerful, was not immune to betrayal, and so began a conflict that would become known as the Horus Heresy. There is no peace among the stars, only an eternity of carnage and slaughter, and the laughter of thirsting gods. This era is called the Age of Darkness because it was a time when even the brightest champions of humanity were tempted and corrupted, and the galaxy plunged into chaos and civil war. Before the Age of Darkness, the Emperor of Mankind created 20 superhuman sons, the Primarchs. Each was designed to embody a unique aspect of his greatness: courage, wisdom, strategy, ferocity, and leadership. However, the Chaos Gods interfered, scattering the infant Primarchs across the galaxy. Each landed on a different world where the environment and culture shaped their personality, beliefs, and future leadership styles. When the Emperor eventually found each Primarch, he reunited them with their respective legions of space marines. These legions were created using the gene seed derived from the Primarch, ensuring a deep genetic and spiritual bond between the Primarch and his warriors. Some Primarchs were noble and wise, others fiery and aggressive, some brooding and secretive. But each was a figure of immense power and influence, destined to lead humanity across the stars. The Horus Heresy was a galaxy-spanning civil war that nearly destroyed the Imperium of man. It was initiated by Horus Lupercal, a Primarch, the Emperor's most trusted son and war master. Horus was gravely wounded during a campaign and was healed by the forces of chaos. During his recovery, he was seduced by the Chaos Gods, who exploited his doubts and ambitions. Horus turned against the Emperor, believing that the Emperor sought to become a tyrant and that the Imperium would be better served by embracing the powers of chaos. Horus's rebellion was swift and devastating. He convinced several other Primarchs and their legions to join him, leading to a galactic civil war. The traitor legions launched attacks on loyalist worlds, culminating in the Siege of Terra, the Emperor's homeworld. The Siege of Terra was the final and most brutal conflict of the heresy. The traitor forces laid siege to the imperial palace, and after a prolonged battle, Horus confronted the emperor. In a tragic and climactic duel, the emperor was mortally wounded, but managed to defeat Horus. The emperor was interred within the Golden Throne, a life support device that kept him alive in a state of near death. The Adeptus Astartes, or Space Marines, were the Emperor's superhuman warriors, creating from the gene seed of the Primarchs. They were designed to be the ultimate soldiers, embodying the Emperor's will and serving as the vanguard of humanity's expansion. The Space Marines were created using the genetic material of the Primarchs. Each Marine underwent rigorous training and implantation of gene seed organs that enhanced their physical and mental capabilities. These enhancements made them formidable warriors capable of surviving in the harshest environments and facing the most dangerous foes. The Space Marines served as the Emperor's elite soldiers, leading campaigns to reunite humanity across the galaxy. They were the first to land on hostile worlds, the first to face alien threats, and the last line of defense against the forces of chaos. Now, to aid in your English vocabulary, here are some key terms related to the lore. Primarch, a genetically engineered superhuman, son of the Emperor. Each Primarch led a legion of Space Marines embodying unique aspects of warfare. 2. Legion, a large unit of Space Marines, each led by a Primarch. The legions were the Emperor's primary military force during the Great Crusade. 3. Gene seed, the genetic material used to create Space Marines. The gene seed of a Primarch determined the traits of their respective legion. Chaos, malevolent entities from the warp that seek to corrupt and destroy. The Chaos gods seduced Horus, leading him to betray the Emperor. Siege, a military operation where forces surround and isolate a target. The Siege of Terra was the final battle of the Horus Heresy. And finally, Golden Throne, the life support device that sustains the Emperor after his mortal wounding. The Emperor remains within the Golden Throne, guiding humanity from the brink of death. Now, let's combine some words. The Primarch led his legion into battle, but was ultimately seduced by chaos, leading to the Siege of Terra and the Emperor's internment in the Golden Throne. Now, translate the sentence above into your native language, then back into English to practice comprehensions and sentence structure. Using at least 3 of the vocabulary words, write a short paragraph summarizing the Horus Heresy. Now it's your turn to reflect and practice English by thinking about the Horus Heresy and the Age of Darkness. Try answering these questions in the comments. 1. Who is Horus? And why did he betray the Emperor? What does In the Grim Darkness of the Far Future, There Is Only War tell you about life in the galaxy during the Horus Heresy? 2. If you were alive during the Age of Darkness, which side would you fight for? The loyalists defending the Emperor? The traitor legions following Horus? Or would you try to survive as a neutral civilian or scholar? Try to include vocabulary words like betrayal, crucible, guardian, or corruption in your answers. For example, the Age of Darkness shows a galaxy in chaos where betrayal and corruption test every guardian of humanity. 2. I would choose to fight with the loyalists facing the crucible of war to defend the Emperor and humanity. 3. As a scholar surviving during the heresy, I would observe the corruption and chaos while trying to keep knowledge safe. This exercise combines English practice with deep engagement with Warhammer 40k lore, helping you remember both the words and the story while reflecting creatively on the Age of Darkness. The Age of Darkness was a pivotal era in Warhammer 40,000 lore, marked by the creation of the Primarchs, the betrayal of Horus, and the near destruction of the Imperium. Understanding these events provides insight into the complexities of loyalty, ambition, and the consequences of corruption. By exploring these stories, you not only immerse yourself in a rich narrative, but also enhance your English vocabulary and comprehension skills. Remember, learning a language is not just about memorizing words. It's about understanding context, culture, and the stories that shape our world. If you have any questions or need further clarification on any of the terms or events mentioned, feel free to ask. Thanks for watching Warriors of Language. If you enjoyed learning English with Warhammer 40k, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this lesson. Until then, stay vigilant and remember, in the grim darkness of the far future, there is only English. Bye.